See you. So we had a request last night from, and he's not even here. Was he here? Bill, was it from you?
It's from Bill.
It was from Bill. All right. To do a meditation on emptiness. There is iPhone. I bet that's our beautiful hin. So that's what we're doing this morning. But before we start, you know how I'm always going on about IKEA when we do emptiness. So I'm going to share this. So this is not a great example because it's not a table or anything. Hang on, just wait. I have to start again. But so see that box there on the ground? That's a box on the ground. See, you can see an altar without anything on it, and then there's a box on the ground. So that comes from IKEA. That's a box. And inside there is a shelf. But actually it's not a shelf until it is a shelf. So it's in a box. There's all the bits and pieces that come with it. There was like this metal bit. There was a bunch of screws. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that. And then that kind of look is how it looked after. So now it's an altar. But it's a merely labeled altar because to some people that might just be a shelf. To the people in IKEA, it's a box with bits and pieces in it. So anyway, that's just where I'm starting today. So when we think about emptiness, we're thinking about things being empty of concrete and inherent existence. So when you walk into our Gompa here, you look at the altar and you think it's like it's fixed, but there is a constant changing evolution of bits and pieces in that room as we try and fit it, all the different activities that are going on in there. So let's just settle in. We're going to do this meditation from How to Meditate. It was put together by Venerable Sangha Kadro, it's Kathleen MacDonald, and Venerable Rabina was the editor. Anyway, so we'll just go through that. We've done it a number of times, but it's always useful to think about these things over and over again. And we also at nighttime, when we do a little bit of it at the end of the Vajrasattva meditation at nighttime, Lama Zopa Rinpoche always used to say that it would seal the merit that we have created. I'm not honestly sure how that works. And some of these things that the lamas say, I tend to just go by faith. And then sometime down the track, it appears like Mary Jo. Do you want me to let her in? Okay. There she's. Okay. Sometimes down the track, I kind of get an understanding. But Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to say, well, after the end of the session, in order to prevent our delusions from maybe taking away the merit or whatever positive thing that we had created during the meditation, he would say to seal it with this idea about thinking about emptiness. So thinking about things as being not really existing from their own side, which is how we generally tend to see everything. Although I think by this time, some of us do have an understanding of dependent arising. We do have an understanding of impermanence. We do have a little bit of an understanding of karma. We can sort of see how it works in our own lives the older we get. But anyway, let's just see how we go with this. So just start by sitting in a comfortable position and sort of ground yourself in your feet. Align your spine, shoulders are aligned with the hips, and lengthen the spine. And then just relax from the head all the way down through your limbs, through your fingers, through your toes, and particularly relax the jaw and the temples, the back of the tongue. And just notice your breath. Notice sounds in your environment. Allow them to be there. And then notice what's arising in the mind. And allow that. But try not to judge, criticize, follow the story. However it is you're showing up this morning is really very fine. And we have all our people of our life, our loved ones, the ones we don't love so much. Sometimes even with our loved ones, we have complicated relationships. And then there's our strangers, and they can change place at any time. So then we'll do this meditation this morning for the benefit of all these beings in our life. By extension, all beings. So with the alertness of a spy, slowly and carefully become aware of the I. You know, we refer to ourselves as I all the time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So who is that I? Who is it that thinks and feels and meditates? And how does your I appear to you? Is it a creation of your own mind? Or is it something that exists concretely and independently in its own right? So now try and locate it. Where is this I? Is it in your head, in your eyes, in your heart, in your hands, in your stomach, in your feet? So carefully consider each part of your body, including the organs, the blood vessels, and the nerves. And can you find it, your I? It might be very small and subtle. So consider the cells, the atoms, the and atomic particles. If you do think of your I as a part of your body, then what would happen if that part were removed in an operation or damaged in an accident? And what happens to that I when your body ceases to function at death? Perhaps you think your mind is the I. The mind is a constantly changing stream of thoughts and feelings and other experiences coming and going. It's rapidly moving. It's never the same from one moment to the next. Which of these experiences is the I? Is it when you have a loving thought towards someone? Is it an angry thought or a happy feeling or a depressed feeling? If you think that your I is one of these experiences, then what happens to it when that kind of experience is not present in your mind? If your I is love, for example, then when your mind is filled with anger, does the I go somewhere else or disappear altogether? Is there no I at that time, or maybe you have many I's? Maybe you have an angry I, a frightened I, a loving I. If you can't find the I in your body or your mind, then could it be somewhere else? Could it be something else? Is there some extra part of you other than your body and your mind? After all, we say my body and my mind, implying the existence of something else that owns these two. And if so, what is it? Where is it found? What kind of phenomenon is it? Examine every possibility that you can think of. Again, look at the way your I appears, how it feels to you. And after this search for the I, do you notice any change? Do you still believe that it is as solid and real as you felt before? Does it still appear to exist independently in and of itself? Now mentally, excuse me, disintegrate your body. Imagine all atoms separating and floating apart, billions and billions of minute particles scattering throughout space. And imagine you can actually see this. Now disintegrate your mind and let every thought, every feeling, every sensation and perception float away. And then check your feeling of I. Where is it? What is it? And does that feel scary to you to do that? Do you notice a subtle grasping or not? So there could be possibly a mistake of thinking, my body is not the I, my mind is not the I, therefore I don't exist. But you do exist, but not in the way you instinctively feel as something independent and inherent. Conventionally, yourself exists in dependence upon mind and body, and this combination is the basis to which conceptual thinking ascribes the name I or self or Mary or Harold. This is the you that is sitting and meditating and wondering, do I exist? Whatever exists is necessarily dependent upon causes and conditions or parts and names for existence. It exists. A car is a collection of pieces of steel and glass and plastic and rubber and engine put together by people in a factory, designed by someone somewhere, some engineer. And we give the name car to this collection. But if we look for a real, concrete, independently existing car, it cannot be found. So like my IKEA shelf, I wish I'd had a table to show you. But that little box came with several parts. The altar, the metal bits that screwed into the wall, and some screws, and actually not all the screws were there. But it wasn't an altar until Bob, our next door neighbor, put it up on the wall. So conventionally, things exist dependently, and understanding dependence is the principal cause for understanding their ultimate nature, emptiness. The conventional nature of an object is its dependence upon other things. And its ultimate nature is its emptiness of inherent, independent existence. So think about how your body exists conventionally in dependence upon skin and blood and bones and legs and arms and organs. And in turn, each of these exists in dependence upon their own parts, cells, atoms, and subatomic particles. And you know when any one of these things is not working properly, the body doesn't work properly. When you have a little problem in your foot, after a while that starts to create a problem in your knee and in your hip, and then your back. So if something in our body is out of balance, it creates some kind of discomfort or dis-ease. So think about how the mind, how it exists independence upon thoughts and feelings, perceptions, sensations, and how in turn each of these exists independence upon the previous conscious experiences that gave rise to it. So we don't have happiness in a vacuum. We don't have anger in a vacuum or sadness in a vacuum. We can track our thoughts. One thought leads to the next. Now let's go back to the feeling of the self or the I. And think about how you exist conventionally in dependence upon mind and body and name, the self's parts. And maybe you have a label for yourself, like you're a doctor or a teacher or just a person with running your own business. Maybe that's how you define yourself in the world. So back to the body. When your body feels hungry or cold, for example, you think, I am hungry, I am cold. When the mind has an idea about something, you think, I think this. When you feel love for someone, you say, I love you. When you introduce yourself, you say, I am so-and-so. Apart from this sense of I that depends upon the ever-flowing, ever-changing streams of body and mind, there is an I that is solid. Is there an I that is solid? Is there an I that's unchanging? Is there an I that's independent? The mere absence of such an inherently existing I is the emptiness of the self. So before we dedicate, I'd like to recite some mantra for all the people who are suffering so much over there in the Middle East. So we can recite on Mani Padme Hum. We've got a few minutes left. So let's just do that. Just in your mind, just from your heart, send as much love and light and comfort, taking away the fear from the hearts and the minds of the children, the desperate grief of the parents, relatives, friends who've lost each other, and kind of a lot of violence. And everybody is affected. This is affecting many people all over the world. And of course, there's this ongoing war in Ukraine. So just send, as we recite in the mantra, just send love and light and make strong prayers that the mantra reaches the hearts and minds of the leaders. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created this morning to the benefit of all those people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings, and particularly all those sentient beings that are caught up in war and violence and terror and fear. Just try and send them peace and love. All right, everybody, take care. Lots of love. I look forward to seeing some of you this evening. All right. Nice to see you there, Hin.
Thank you, Venerable Katy. Bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone.